At the Baxter building, Thing was cooking his famous ribs, but was displeased with having to work an unusual machine when he asked Reed Richards to install a barbecue grill. He tells them that the food is almost ready, but when they aren't responding, Sue and Johnny are arguing about whether or not to spy on Reed. Thing wonders what they're on about, to which Johnny explains that some guy showed up and claims to be an old friend of Reed. Reed takes the guy to his lab and has been there for hours. Johnny tries to convince Sue to turn the ceiling invisible so they can spy on them, but she refuses. Thing got so distracted that he burned the steak he was grilling. Sue claims they need to respect Reed's privacy, so she'll do a quick peek when, suddenly, they feel the ground shake. They quickly checked Reed's lab to find him unconscious on the ground and a green behemoth on top of him, later revealed to be the Hulk. Thing charges at the Hulk and wrestles him while Sue and Johnny check on Reed. When Hulk smashes Thing into the ground, Johnny transforms into the Human Torch and provides cover, but Hulk easily catches him. Sue stands up to Hulk and traps him inside an invisible barrier, but Hulk keeps hitting it until it breaks. When Sue eventually gives in, Thing stands back up and pushes Hulk through the wall and outside the building. Johnny flies out after them to sweep off civilians who get caught in their fighting. Even falling from a 20-story building didn't have any effect on him, and Hulk declares that no one is stronger than him. Reed wakes up and wonders where Bruce went to, which Sue suspects that Hulk must have eaten him. He asks her to help Thing and Johnny while he goes to retrieve something first. Hulk and Thing wrestle in the middle of New York City, and their fighting destroys the surrounding area. Thing smashes his head into the ground, but Hulk brushes him off and throws a mailbox at him. Johnny tries to help Thing but makes fun of him first. Hulk and Thing then start throwing vehicles at each other. When Thing catches a van thrown at him, Hulk jumps on top of it and smashes him with it. Johnny attacks Hulk with fireballs, but Hulk fights back and douses him with water when he pulls out a fire hydrant. When Hulk is about to finish him off, Sue turns Johnny invisible. When Thing gets back up again, he walks up to Hulk, but Sue stops him with an invisible barrier. She worries that their fighting has turned New York into a battlefield and claims that too many lives are at stake. Hulk slowly approaches them, but Sue uses her powers to create an air bubble on his head, making it difficult for him to breathe. Sue tries to hold it in place, but Hulk breaks free, and she collapses after straining herself. Thing gets furious and is about to attack Hulk, but Reed arrives and tells them not to hurt him. Reed then restrains Hulk with his stretchable body and puts a device on his head. Hulk breaks free and throws Reed, who rolls up into a ball. Suddenly, Hulk groans in pain, to which Reed explains the device affects the target's inner ear, which puts him off balance and makes him pass out. Hulk reverts to being Bruce and passes out, which surprises everyone. Reed tells them that his name is Bruce Banner, one of the few people he could hold a conversation with. At graduate school, they were both experimenting with radiation, whereas his interests were in cosmic rays. Banner was more into gamma rays. Bruce was convinced that gamma rays were the key to a cure for everything. He only heard about the accident after he left. Sue is furious when she learns that Reed has always known about it. She is mad at him for bringing the Hulk to their home and not telling them about it, worried that they are now responsible for the damage to the city. When Banner regains consciousness, Thing immediately sets things straight, claiming that he is not stronger than him. He claims that he was lucky that Reed stopped him before he had the chance to prove it. Reed walks in and apologizes to Banner, having miscalculated the levels of radiation in his experiment. Banner tells him not to apologize, as he is doing the best he can to help him. He tells him that his calculations weren't wrong, and claims that he is the problem, as anger triggers his transformations. He claims he shouldn't have let his frustrations get the better of him. Johnny panics when he discovers Banner transforms into the Hulk when angry. Banner apologizes to Reed for dragging him into his mess and explains that he has been on the run ever since, and he didn't have anyone else to turn to. Reed claims that the cure may still work, and he needs to give it time. Thing states that as monsters, they need to stick together, but Banner argues that Ben Grimm is a role model and a celebrity who, unlike the Hulk, is a force of nature. Banner claims that the Hulk is the real monster, describing him to be pure rage and destruction. Banner quickly gets up and claims that it was a mistake to go into a city with so many civilians when there are people after him. Johnny asks him who they are when suddenly the alarm goes off, alerting them of intruders. Banner states that he needs to leave, refusing to be caught by people who plan on turning the Hulk into a weapon. Johnny reassures him that they can handle the enemy, but Reed worries the intruders are using state-of-the-art technology to breach into the building. Reed orders Thing to protect Banner while he and Johnny deal with the intruders. Thing takes Banner to the garage and leaves him in a car to help the others. When mercenaries break into the building, Reed disguises himself as part of the floor, and he takes them out from underneath them. Johnny chases the intruders that got past Reed by melting their weapons. He captures them in a fire net that burns the oxygen in the air until they pass out. Reed picks up their weapon to analyze it when a flash grenade suddenly blows up. He takes out one more soldier before falling after he gets hit with the enemy's weapon. Johnny tries to lure the enemies deeper inside the lab when the enemy catches him with a fireproof net. While Banner is waiting for Thing to return, Agent Pratt finds him in the car. Banner tries to escape, but he gets knocked down after being hit by their sonic weapons. Pratt is overjoyed and explains that thanks to Banner, they will have 5 super-powered weapons at their disposal. Outside, agents are seen dragging an unconscious Thing who appears to be quite heavy. With the others captured, Pratt oversees them being loaded into choppers in secured containers. Later, a soldier reports to Pratt that they have yet to find Sue when suddenly the locks on the containers break, and the other Fantastic Four starts to wake up. Pratt orders his men to use their infrared goggles, but it is already too late, and Sue knocks him out. Johnny quickly transforms into the Human Torch and burns the weapons of the soldiers who were descending from the choppers. Reed tells them to free Banner before the enemy takes off with him. Sue traps soldiers in a force field, which forces their attacks to ricochet and hit themselves. Sue helps Thing reach the choppers with an invisible platform, to which he then rips the helicopters apart, while Johnny melts the helicopter's blades. Pratt orders the remaining chopper to take off after securing Banner on board. Reed tries to hold it back, but Pratt hits him with the sonic gun that forces him to let go. Johnny was about to chase after them, but was surprised to see the helicopter fly away so fast with rocket engines. The Fantastic Four give chase, to which Reed apologizes for not telling them about Banner. Sue accepts his apology, but informs him that they have bigger problems now that the enemy has captured Banner. Reed claims they need to get Banner back, claiming that he has suffered enough. Johnny worries about catching up to them when they have a head start using rocket engines on their helicopter. Later, Reed tracks down Banner, explaining that his gamma signature is like a flare gun. The enemy discovers that the Fantastic Four is fast approaching, so Pratt orders headquarters to send reinforcements. Several enemy planes fly out to intercept and fire missiles at them, but they dodge them all. Reed tells them they don't have time as the enemy is already unloading Banner. That said, they separate into 4 different vehicles, with Sue and Johnny dealing with the enemy planes chasing them while Reed and Thing go after Banner. Before the enemy can bring Banner inside headquarters, Thing drops in on them, and the impact sends a shockwave that knocks them out. Reed also goes down to help and frees Banner from the container, but Pratt hits him from the back with a sonic weapon that knocks him out. Thing worries he wouldn't be able to handle them all by himself, especially when they bring out the giant sentries. He asks Banner to bring out the Hulk, but he worries he can't just as easily change and would have to get angry. Thing tries to get him mad by insulting him, but it doesn't work. So instead, he scares him by saying that the enemy is going to use the Hulk to hurt innocent people. Suddenly, Banner quickly turns into the Hulk and attacks Thing, furious for making fun of his mom. Realizing that Hulk is focused on him, Thing lures Hulk into attacking the enemy, who gets caught between them. Hulk goes on a rampage and inadvertently destroys everything around him, including the enemy's weapons. Pratt attacks Hulk from behind with the sonic gun, but it doesn't have any effect, and Thing confiscates his weapon. Hulk throws a helicopter at Thing, declaring that he is the strongest there is. He then picks up a defenseless Pratt, who recognizes him to be the one who is always chasing the Hulk and demands that he leave him alone, to which he anxiously complies. Hulk looks out into the horizon, to which Thing tells him that they will settle on who is the strongest one of these days. When Hulk growls in response, he claims they will do an arm wrestling. Hulk then leaps into the Badlands, free and away from the enemy. Meanwhile, Reed calls in the government and turns in Pratt, who is trying to use Hulk for his personal agenda. Sue wonders what will happen with Hulk, to which Reed explains that he will continue to work on a cure for him, just like how he is working on a cure for Ben. Thing claims he could have taken the Hulk, but Johnny makes fun of him, claiming that he'd break his hands with Hulk's face, to which he frustratingly chases after him. Thank you for watching. Check out these other videos, and subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.